By way of introduction, I'm Daniel. Hello. It's absolute pleasure to be here. And I'm going to be leading you guys through basically the real basics of Bitcoin mining. So I am the business development manager at HashX. So we've got the stand downstairs with all the Bitcoin mining equipment. We are one of Australia's largest Bitcoin mining hardware providers. So I'm kind of going through a lot of the questions that I get asked every day by customers who are coming to me like, I've heard about Bitcoin mining. What do I do? I've never tried it before. So this is kind of like to get everyone together in one spot so I don't have to do the same thing for 3 hours on the phone every day. Does that sound good? Anyway, by the way, we are so open to questions as far as Bitcoin mining goes. Please wrap us. There is no dumb questions because we're passionate about it and we believe in trying to see as many people as possible mining, getting that network decentralized as much as possible. So let's get rolling. So Bitcoin mining 101. What are we going to discuss this morning? I'm assuming this. So this is where we're going to start. I'm assuming you've got no prior knowledge of mining. So if you are already mining, then, just take your time. We're going to catch everyone else up as we go along. You do have a knowledge of what Bitcoin is because you've just been in the What Bitcoin Is session, so you learned that a while ago. Or you've got a really good mate who's been talking in your ear the whole time about, this is the future of money, and you need to get on it quick. So you've at least got some idea that it's a thing. You've got an interest in stacking Bitcoin long term. So I hope no one in this room really is desperate to get rich quick because I'm not going to give you those keys today. And you've got some ability to do a little bit of maths on a calculator, and you've used Google before. And I just want to show of hands. Does that describe some people in this room? Yeah, great. The other guys, Google's a thing. As Michael Saylor said, Bitcoin is digital energy, and I'm going to be explaining that in a second. I'm also going to assume these are where my assumptions are going to come from. Number one, that we want some profitability. If a lion on the savannah doesn't have enough calories to go hunting the next day, he starves to death. So the lion has to make a calorie profit every day. And I love Bitcoin. I think it's fantastic. It is one of the most beautiful things in the economy at the moment. However, if we don't make a profit, it's not sustainable. And we want everyone to be as profitable as possible. Profit means you can keep going. Profit means you can keep mining, keep supporting the network. We believe in Bitcoin, so we've got an interest in supporting and building the Bitcoin network. So I'm not going to be talking about shitcoin miners. We care also about noise. So we also want to be able to, if we're going to take this seriously, you're going to have to live with a Bitcoin miner. They're not friendly neighbors. They don't shut up at 2 o'clock in the morning. They continue to make 90 decibels, whether you like it or not. And also the other assumption I'm making is you are not stealing energy. Stealing's bad. You shouldn't steal. Taxation might be theft. Anyway. All right, so mining in 60 seconds. What is it? How does it function as part of the Bitcoin ecosystem? In Bitcoin, you have users. We are the most important part of that network. Transactions. They're the actions that we take on the network. We have the nodes that store the list of all of our transactions. Then we have mining. Mining is the security and the integrity of the Bitcoin network. Without mining, we don't always know that the nodes would be right. We could have no faith that the original block in the chain would be the correct one. We have to prove that the nodes are right with something called proof of work. And so it's from the miners that we get the absolute guarantee that that Bitcoin is your Bitcoin and it will stay your Bitcoin in perpetuity until you decide to transfer it and create a transaction to another user. It's relying on a kind of maths called SHA-256. Again, you can go away and Google this. I'm not going to go super nerdy into all of that cool stuff, but it is very cool. It's constantly ensuring that only the correct and valid transactions are added to each block, and that each block gets verified. I didn't add that point. It anchors Bitcoin to the real world through proof of work. How do we do work? We spend energy across time. That's basic physics. Proof of work is where we take energy in the form of electricity and add it into a really fancy computer. We have some of them downstairs on the table that you can go and touch and pick up and feel. And what comes out the other side is the mathematical calculation that we have done the work, that we have correctly calculated the right answer. So that's what mining actually is. It's creating a big cloud of maths, is how I like to describe it to people, so that Bitcoin stays secure and any new transactions are going to match the same standards and the same correctness as all the other transactions. It's a really, really beautiful system. We keep adding energy to the network to keep it up to date and to keep it the same. So what we want to go through right now, the 5 things I wish I knew since I started mining. I started mining in the bear market of 2018. So kind of about the same stages that you guys are today in the price cycle. I started when I came into Bitcoin, in Bitcoin mining specifically, when all of the hype had dropped out of the market and everyone was wondering around like, why are you getting into Bitcoin? It's dead. Then we want to go over the top 5 questions you need to ask when thinking about, am I ready to start mining today? And the other thing that we want to look at is a good cat meme, because of course Dogecoin sucks. I'm not going to give any financial advice. I'm not going to be pushing any kind of investment on you. That's not what I do. I'm not interested in that. I think it's an amazing opportunity and it will sell itself to you. It doesn't need me. I'm not going to recommend any altcoin, and I'm definitely not going to show you any return on investment numbers. I'm going to give you the tools to work out what your numbers are. Does that make sense? Does that sound good? Does that sound good? All right, let's get going. So, number 1, energy is power. And this is probably 90% of where Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining is based on. Your cost of energy. Mining is simply the process of turning energy into usable capital that we call money, that we call Bitcoin. Mining uses a ton of energy already globally, and I don't think it uses enough energy. It should use more, and we should have more mining. But it's already using about the same levels as Belgium, or on a bad day, it might be using the same levels as Argentina. I don't know which of those countries you prefer to live in. The most profitable miners, the ones that are really going to, let's say, produce profitability, use a lot of energy. So we have to consider this when thinking about if mining is right for us. Having an energy edge is key to success in mining. We're going to talk about that a bit later. Do you have solar? Do you have somewhere you can put it where you get great energy prices? What is your energy edge is the number 1 question that I wish I had known. Because I bought a miner, I plugged it into my home in my dinky little spare bedroom at 25 cents a kilowatt hour, and I had a $900 power bill that month. So I don't want that to happen to you. Do the numbers beforehand. All right, mining takes time. Now, the first thing I did when I got a $900 power bill was what? Unplug the miner. Yeah, exactly. So I mined for about a month. And then I started to, let's say, educate myself, go through the process, work things out. Mining is dollar cost averaging on autopilot. That's the first way to think about it in terms of an investment. It's DCAing the market every hour of every day without you having to take a single action, because you are actively supporting the network. And it's every block you get paid. It's ideally, if we're buying a profitable miner, because remember we're aiming for profitability, it's at a discount to the market. So it gets doubly good. You're not only DCAing and then stacking sats all the time, you're doing it cheaper than the market price of Bitcoin. Because if I spend $1 on power to get $2 of Bitcoin, guess what? I just paid half the market price for my Bitcoin, which is a good deal, right? Which means that I don't have to pay another miner's markup, because remember, all Bitcoin was mined. There's no secret behind the scenes little ledger that someone's writing in a few extras. That means that I have to pay another miner's markup. And guess what? I'm a miner. If you want my Bitcoin, you're going to pay for it. I'm not going to sell it to you cheap. You've got to pay me, give me 5 years worth of my energy cost, and then I might think about it. So you have to really think about that. When getting into mining, you're looking for that discount on the market. Mining works best over a full Bitcoin halving cycle. So that's about 3 to 5 years, depending when you get into it. Obviously, I also turned my miner back on after 1 month of being off. So I learned it, played around with a few things, started to sort my energy cost out, did some more research, learned a few lessons, and I realized that keeping the miner on stacking it every day, doing anything I could to get just under my energy cost. For a while, it was like making 10 cents a day. But that 10 cents a day over the course of a whole Bitcoin cycle adds up to a huge amount of capital. And that can be more miners, that can be your children's future, that can be your grandchildren's investment. You know, that is the freedom that we believe happens within Bitcoin without stopping. And this was the big thing. When the world was going crazy in 2020, guess what I also did? And the Bitcoin price, crashed down from 10K to 3K. I turned my miner off again because I got scared. I was like, help, I'm not going to make any money this month. That cost of power is too expensive. If I'd done that, I probably would have been earning twice the amount of sats right down there because all the other miners did that as well, didn't they? The network hash rate took a big dive. We're going to go into that, what that is shortly, which means that I would have made actually more sats in that month that I'd turned on. And of course, the price came back up and it all would have worked out okay. So my encouragement to you is think about how you could survive over the long term. So don't just think about this as a short-term play, what the numbers look like today. When thinking about mining, think about it for 3 to 5 years without stopping. How could I not stop? Awesome. Network hash rate. This is a word you probably have heard of. This is real simple. This just means all of the mining that exists in the world today is network hash rate. All of it. And we can actually work it out every single block because we know how many hashes went into that block and what the average time to create that block was. And we can do the maths backwards and come up with the number to say, oh, well, this many guesses per second happened. And it's actually a really cool thing about Bitcoin. We know exactly how many miners, or at least how many guesses there are at every single moment. The hash rate I describe here as a hash race. The network hash rate is a number that represents all the miners on the network, and it goes up. It goes up significantly over time. I have them in the big writing. The net hash compounds at an average of about 20% per quarter. Guess why? Bitcoin mining in general is profitable. If it's profitable, humans are incentivized to do Bitcoin mining. That means more miners come into the network. That means more users and more transactions come into the network. That means the number goes up a little bit over time. That means more miners get incentivized to come into the network, etc., etc., etc. You guys understand that? So the pool of hash rate gets larger and larger and larger over time, usually at a compounding rate. Long term, you need to have a plan, and I didn't have a plan because obviously I bought my miner in 2018 when the network hash rate was like, must have been 30 exahashes. It's now 300 exahashes on average at the moment today. Don't worry about the exa and all that kind of stuff. Just think 10 times harder to mine. So do you think that mine is anywhere near profitable today? No, it's e-waste. So you need to have a thought of what am I going to do in 2 years' time, in 4 years' time, in 5 years' time? How is my miner going to stay profitable for the long term? How maybe I'm going to increase my own hash rate, i.e., buy more miners, find more energy, keep my costs down to keep up with the rest of the network hash rate. And if it's profitable, it can work really, really well. So beware the bear is what I've described this one. Long-term strategy eats short-term greed. The number of people that I saw in 2021 just buy mining rigs thinking, I bought 5 miners, I'm going to retire now because I'm making, $400 a day and all these kind of things. Those guys are definitely still at work right now. I can assure you that. And unfortunately, it's not really the bull market numbers that we really need to worry about because they look amazing. Everyone, number goes up. A whole load of new people adopt Bitcoin. A whole load of new people are attracted to mining. But what do your numbers look like today? Like in a market like December when network is at an all-time high, price is at a local low, and what a local bottom looks like in terms of that. Can we survive the bear market? If you survive the bear market, you're going to survive the bull market. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. The bull market case is easy. I can show you beautiful spreadsheets that will make you a millionaire in 2 years' time if the price goes to, 500 grand or all this kind of stuff. it's really not what you need to worry about. If you do your numbers on the worst case scenario and be really conservative, then that's when mining really is successful. Could you remain profitable in Bitcoin winter? When would you become a forced seller? You know, did you leverage your position? Did you take out a loan to buy money, buy miners and all these kinds of things? Think about that. Do you have a backup strategy? Could you go and find cheap power? Do you know a guy who's got an industrial shed where you could buy some power off him cheap? All these kinds of things. Could you go intermittent? So one of these things we'll talk about is solar. Could you just mine during the day, just for the bear market? Mining is loud, and we've got a couple of options down on the table that we're actually showing mining doesn't have to be that loud. So we've actually got one of these C1 coolers that you guys can come and have a look at and get hands-on with. From the factory, most mining equipment is designed for industrial locations. So it's hot and it's loud. So you have to deal with heat and you have to deal with the noise. There are some really cool options. There's a cool YouTube channel that I love. He's got like a whole inline cooling kit. No, much quieter than standard. Ultimately, you can also consider hosting as well. And at HashX, we actually have some really amazing hosting options. Hosted in Australia, we don't send your miners overseas. We want you to be able to go and visit the site and touch it and feel it and go on a tour and see your slot on the mining in the data center and all that kind of thing. Yeah. No, that YouTube channel is Space Design Warehouse. Yeah, I really love it. He's got a lot of really good ideas, good advice. So definitely a good resource. Also, yes. So hosting is where you send your miner to someone else's warehouse who has really cheap power, so that you can stay profitable. So they just charge you a power rate. Awesome. Here's the 5 things you need to know to hit go. Let's go. Consider hosting or doing it on your own. So hosting. You buy a mining rig and you find someone who's got a good reputation, a good facility, and a good power price, and you send it to them. If you've done that research, you're ready to hit go. Why are you waiting? The network hash rate only goes up. So pull the trigger today, especially in low market prices. You can't afford to wait. You've seen overseas hosting on the internet. Maybe just wait a bit. Maybe wait for a mate to try it first and see if he gets burned. There are still some really good overseas options, but remember, verify, don't trust. Mate, a quick Google search shows me I can get hosting at 3 cents a kilowatt hour and blah, 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 blah. It's probably a scam if it's too good to be true. There are a ton of different cloud hosting, mining options on the internet. Don't believe the hype. Just go and check, go and look at like other forums, dive into our Telegram group, which I'll put up later, where you can ask questions, where you can get the best advice. Because believe me, I've seen people throw hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, into really, really bad options. Going it on your own. You've got a low cost of energy. You're one of those people who's got 15 cents per kilowatt hour at their home. Brilliant. Go for it. You'll be able to mine profitably. You can definitely get some options to make that process quieter. You only have residential energy? Maybe just wait, because today's prices are probably a bit too high. You maybe get it at 25 cents like I did, 30 cents now, some of those energy prices. If you have something like solar, maybe you can make that cost a bit lower. So that's why I say maybe wait if you only have residential energy. Your RRR, renting, residential, and another R word that I can't tell people because it's rude. You just heard that plugging in a miner would make you rich. Stop. Don't move. Go and have a chat. Go and recheck your thinking. So, using some tools. If you want to take a picture of this slide, this is awesome. I've got some websites up there. Do some comparisons. There's tons of information on the internet. Come and have a chat. I was going to say, I'm going to put our Telegram group out in a moment. So join our Telegram group, ask some questions, have a look at prices, constantly monitor things, get information. What to mine, ASIC miner value, NiceHash, these are amazing, amazing tools. Awesome. Mind your equipment cost. So all I can say is that from HashX, we have a mission to bring the best value ASIC mining hardware in the country to you guys. That's our promise to you. If you can find another landed mining hardware cheaper, we will at least match the price, if not be able to beat it for you. And this is the me. This is what happens when you mine Dogecoin, guys, or you mine on residential power. You get fried. Anyway, thank you so much. I know it's a bit of a rush because we don't have too much time and there's a whole load of other amazing speakers out there. But I'm going to be down at the HashX stand all day. Come and have a chat. But before you go, pull out your phones. If you haven't got Telegram, download Telegram because it's where all the crypto action happens. I mean, Bitcoin action happens. Join our Telegram group. We post a lot of information in there. We post a lot of our pricing updates to give you the latest information. That means if you've got some tools like ASIC miner value or what to mine, you can immediately do your own numbers based on what you could get it for today. Awesome. Thank you very, very much. Any questions you guys got, come and annoy me later. It's not annoying at all.